office. So, well,
Oh,
it doesn't look like you're at the office either. But
no, I've got appointments on the closer to the cities today, so I'm doing this from home today.
no, that's great.
You think you got the flu or what's?
Well, yeah, stomach stuff. So I just
Yeah,
didn't want to risk it.
yeah. Oh, I'm sorry that you're not feeling well.
No, it's fine. Things
Well, this is going to be kind of baptism by fire here. This is the first one of these that we've done. I just, thought that I'd get back to practicing some scripts with our agents, especially we have a lot of newer agents that are just, looking for some scripts to use while they're doing various different things, whether it's, just for an open house, whether it's for door knocking, whether it's just in communicating with, clients in general. So what I was intending on doing, and with this being the first one in the August training calendar, coming out, I anticipated that we would have, very few participants. I think as people start to realize that we're going to be doing this on an ongoing basis, it'll build some momentum. And the nice thing about you being the only one on right now is we can really sort of tailor this to where you think you're needing some help with scripts right now.
Sure.
Generally, what I'll do is just kind of open up this time and say, okay, tell me what you guys got. What have you been working on? What have you been challenged with or struggling with as far as maybe conversations or getting appointments? So, with you being new, I sort of feel like that could be several, different areas, and we could really kind of take it in any direction. But what are you feeling right now you're needing the most of in the way of scripts?
Well, I guess I don't really have any. You know what I mean? So, for
You
me,
have them, you just don't realize it.
yeah, well, I think it's just me talking about it to everyone, and I'm pretty chill, I guess. I'm not too salesman-y. Like
Yep.
I guess I'm making everyone aware. And I've been really active in the community in the last month or two to just kind of saying, hey, this is what's going on. I'm doing this, and my volleyball squad and all that stuff. And it's, I'm 5-6 days in at this
Right.
point. So,
I'm just curious, what kind of response do you feel like you've gotten so far?
well, I think everyone's excited for me,
Yeah.
but I mean, I've got a few kind of, hey, down the road, we're talking, we've been thinking we're gonna move, and you can definitely list our home when we do that. I and aside from what a week ago, I didn't have cards either,
Right.
so it made it a little bit more difficult for
Sure.
that. But I don't know. I think my big goal this week is to put in as many contacts as I can and
Okay.
demand.
That is the best possible thing you can be doing right now, at this juncture. Remind me, we talked about Facebook
Yeah.
before. Huge on Facebook, but you have a
Yeah, and
Facebook
I've been
profile.
I've been
Okay.
active on it actually. I know
Okay.
it's important, so I've
Yeah,
been
and
trying
it's amazing how quickly you'll start to gain just recognition within your own circles by utilizing that more.
to.
You are such like a personable kind of like happy-go-lucky guy that I gotta believe that one of your biggest strengths is going to be in that what I call like belly to belly interaction, like being in live and in person with people.
I think so too.
So I think it's good to hear that you're involved in, is it like a men's volleyball
Well, it's
league?
a co-ed. We just do it out. Every Monday. I do that.
Okay.
Yeah, just
Okay.
being as social as possible. We had a
Okay.
big party over the weekend, and yeah, just handed out a bunch of cards.
And have you been doing that for a while with that particular league?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yep.
Okay.
So I feel really comfortable with all of them. They all know that I'm doing it.
And they're probably very supportive.
Yeah, yeah. So all the stuff that I've only had maybe one or two contacts that I would say that weren't in my immediate circle, where
Right.
it was just like it was a little bit more difficult, like just breaking that ice.
Sure.
But I mean, it's no pressure, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Well, and that's your style, so I'd stick with it. Really, do you guys have uniforms that you wear when you
No,
play?
no,
Oh,
it's totally low key.
super casual.
Yeah, super casual.
Okay. So one thing that I'm going to give you a tip on, which is a really inexpensive way to sort of market yourself, and it's a not it's a not in your face kind of way. So it kind of goes along with your laid back personality is, and it's relatively inexpensive, investing in some like polos or t-shirts that say, you know, it doesn't have to be great big Keller Williams across your chest, but like my husband will wear like a collared polo, short sleeve polo, like a golf shirt
Yeah.
with like Keller Williams, you know, above kind of like the breast or whatever, and then, you know, like Team Duckworth or something. I find that so we've got like jackets and coats and sweatshirts and polos, and I'm
Okay.
not saying you have to go out and go crazy, you know, and invest in a ton of that, but you know, it's relatively inexpensively. You got to wear clothes anyway,
Yeah.
right? So if you're going to be buying stuff, you might as well be investing in things like that in order to, you know, just kind of create your own walking billboard.
Okay.
So, you know, raising four boys myself, going to things like soccer games and baseball practice and, you know, football games and wrestling tournaments. I always made it a point to have something Keller on, like
Yeah,
whether
that
it's
makes
a ball
sense.
cap or a stocking cap or a sweatshirt or whatever. And just by people seeing that, you know, repetitively, it was a way of reminding them that I was in the business without me actually putting words to it at all.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I would recommend that you do something along those lines. You
Is there
know,
a word?
we can get you the logo. You can go and have it somewhere created locally. Lisa has some resources with regard to some companies that, you know, already have that stuff already made where you can order it online. But I would make that a part of your, you know, daily attire. That's what my husband does. I know that Zach does that too. It's not like every single day that they wear it, but a lot, probably more often than not.
Sure.
Um,
When I'm out and about a lot, I mean, I'm always, I
on the
can't be
go.
inside. So yeah,
Yeah, and even just with like, how many kids do you have?
too.
Even just with the kids, like just interacting with, you know, the parents of your kids. Here's what you'll find if you haven't already. um, People by and large want to do business with people who they know, like, and trust.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of agents, particularly some of our newer ones, sort of feel like, well, what do I have to offer? I'm brand new. Who's going to want to? I was in this category. Who's going to want to hire a brand new agent? Like, what do I have to offer? And what I failed to recognize at the time is most people, even given the fact that you're brand new to real estate, would rather work with you because they know you, they like you, and they trust you,
Sure.
than work with someone who's been in the business 20 years or someone who's, you know, kicking out 40 million a year, you know, in production.
Sure.
So I'm a big fan of you continuing the conversations that you've already started.
Okay.
And you know, I think you'll realize, especially in your circles like volleyball, where they know you well, you're probably rarely going to have to talk about it after you make that initial
Yeah.
announcement that you're in it,
Sure.
especially if you do things like kind of like the attire that I'm talking about,
Okay.
right? I mean, I've even had complete strangers at the grocery store when I'm in line see something I'm wearing saying, "Oh, are you in real estate?" And we just strike up a conversation.
Sure. Sure.
The other thing that I would recommend is just get really good about being cognizant when you're having conversations about how you can slip real estate into the conversation. Not
Sure.
in like a creepy salesy, you know, stalkery way,
Yeah.
right? But it's so easy in the course of just an everyday conversation about almost anything to slip real estate into the conversation. You know, and inevitably people, when they find out you're in real estate, they start asking you the questions. It's not
Yeah.
even you that needs to, you know, initiate that conversation.
You're right.
Uh,
It's totally easy, especially nowadays. There's not a bunch to talk about, so you know what I mean. It's like, but this weekend too, we had a confirmation party, and there's a ton of people there, and um, I talked to 3 different people that I didn't even know about it, just because they overheard that I was talking about it. And that CMAR website, Katie showed me that, and I'm a huge numbers person, and that like it's down 33% for homes for sale and stuff like that. I like just even bringing that kind of stuff up. So
yeah, I'm looking for something that I sent my coach last night that I want to make sure, if you don't have this, this is an awesome talking piece. And I think our agents forget about it a lot. Have you seen this yet? It's called our lore report. Oh,
yeah, I've had 2 of them now. So June and
okay.
July, I think I got, or yeah. something like that.
I don't think we've pumped out July yet, but
Or yeah.
you
June
like
and
that June.
yeah,
So I pulled this out because it reminded me of something you just said. So
I like
our closed units are up compared to CMAR, which is our board overall,
yeah.
345.92%.
Doesn't
So
that feel
CMAR,
good?
yeah, right. CMAR was down negative 12.09. We were up 29.73. So that's a difference of 345.92.
Sure.
Closed sales volume, we're up 912.57%. So like knowing these numbers, or not even necessarily committing them to memory, but just like carry this around with you.
Yeah, sure.
Email it to your database. I would use this in listing appointments. Like here, like you don't really even need to say anymore other than this. These are my company's results when compared to our association as a whole, which includes Remax, Coldwell, Edina, all the other brokerages in town.
Yeah.
So if you're a numbers
Well,
guy, you're going to really like getting that. I think either Lisa or Katie prepares that every month for us.
yeah,
And our numbers are, they're just smoking everybody else.
I love it.
So if you're a numbers guy, I would definitely use that to your advantage.
Yeah. No.
I'm curious, share with me a little bit about like the three strangers or the three folks you didn't know that well. How did real estate come up in conversation?
Well, I was talking to my mother-in-law, and they just kind of chimed in, and then it just got to being this group conversation about real estate, and these other people considering moving and stuff like that. So it's just, but they're like, well, is the market even good right now? I'm like, well, if you're wanting to move, yeah, absolutely. It's a
Yeah.
seller's market right now, and blah blah blah. You
Yeah.
know, but yeah, it was just kind of a one person ignited the other, and then it just kind of got into
And
it.
that's how it happens, right?
Yeah,
So the other thing is having advocates in your corner like your mother-in-law
yeah,
who, you know, once you've been in the business for a while, she wants to see you succeed at a high level, I'm certain, right? So it's also sort of, for lack of a better term, because I don't want to say we have to train our loved ones, but it's also sort of, bringing your loved ones into the fold as well
yeah,
on what you're doing and the fact that lead generation is a part of your job.
yeah. To be
And yeah, and so when you've got all these, soldiers, so to speak, in your arsenal that are out there also, having conversations for you or on your behalf, as soon as they hear someone's thinking about buying, oh my gosh, you should call my son-in-law Grady,
right,
he's great, that sort of thing. Then it just becomes, when that starts happening, that's when things really get fun, because
yeah,
then people are just going to start coming to you,
yep,
right, through
yep,
word of mouth.
yep.
But yeah, I mean, a quick little script for, is it a good time to sell, or is the real estate market good? First of all, the answer is it's always a great
Always,
time to buy or sell in real
yep,
estate, right? Because it is. Um, but particularly right now, what I would be saying to people who are asking that question is, um, sellers are getting top dollar. Homes are selling in multiple offers, oftentimes well above list price. So if you're selling, absolutely 100%. If you're buying, same thing. We had someone lock into a 30-year mortgage at 2.75%
right.
last week.
I know the rates is
Crazy.
they're giving away money.
Yeah, I mean, it's practically free. The last time the market shifted and rates, dipped into the fours and, kind of danced around the threes, we thought there's no way we'll ever see these rates again. And now here we are under 3%.
Right.
So it's a phenomenal time to sell, whether you're a buyer or seller. If you're selling and buying, it's the ultimate time. It's like the trifecta right now to be moving real estate and buying real estate. So, um, your answer was good when you shared that with them. I think where a lot of people sort of struggle then is, okay, so they've asked the question, you've given the answer, it's a great time to sell. And then it's
Yeah.
just kind of like, what do I do now? Like, or where do I go from here
Yeah.
now?
When are you looking to sell?
Yeah, exactly. And it's just something as simple as that. What is the perfect timeline for you? Like, what does that look like? Or another script that I like using is, so Grady, if the perfect, what are you looking for? I first like to find out what they're looking for.
Yeah.
And, then that leads into, so Grady, if I could find you that house within your budget tomorrow, Is that something that you'd be interested in going to take a peek at?
Yeah. Okay.
So I think where a lot of people sort of miss an opportunity is just asking one or two more thoughtful or thought-provoking questions,
Sure.
because the Minnesota nice kicks in, right? Like, oh, we're at a party. I don't want to, you know, seem like I'm doing a hard sell. And, knowing your personality, it's not going to come across that way. It's
Yeah.
just going to come across as very genuine. And hey, so if I did find you the perfect house, like, would you want me to pick up the phone and call you?
Yeah.
Is
Sure.
that something that you might want to go see?
No, that's a nice extra step that I probably wouldn't have brought. I didn't bring up. So
Yeah.
yeah. No, that's awesome. Are you gonna send me this?
Lisa's recording it.
Okay, good.
This stuff just comes
I
from
have my
here,
notepad
Brady.
like in front of me, so I'll start writing things down. But yeah, no, I mean, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, this stuff just comes from here, and that's why like scripting is so important. So like I steered away from that word for years because I, like you, do not want to sound salesy. I don't want to sound like, again, for the lack of a better term, a used car salesperson,
yeah,
right? Like I don't want to be the person that when I walk in a party, people go the opposite direction. Like,
yeah.
oh, here comes Erin again, gonna try and sell me on real estate, right? So
I want business though. You know what I mean? So
absolutely, absolutely,
yeah, you gotta do
100%.
what you gotta do.
Yep, 100%. And in the beginning, that is going to be you, right? In the beginning. But the beauty of that is as you build your business and as the word gets out, you're going to have to be less and less of that person because people are just going to be coming to you and attracted to you like a magnet, right?
Oh,
So, what I hear a lot when people want to like role play with me or do some sort of scripting, like, oh my gosh, hang on, let me write that down. Like, you just make it sound so easy, it just rolls off your tongue. It wasn't always like this, right?
sure.
It wasn't always
Exactly.
like this. This is 18 years
Yeah.
of practice and having conversations. And I don't mean practice like standing in front of the mirror and practicing, although that's not a bad idea. But it's not being afraid to like engage people, have the conversation, and try different scripts here and there to see what
Sure.
works,
Sure.
right? So and I don't think that there's any risk of this with you, but you can't be afraid to put yourself out there and
Yeah, I
have
have no
a
problem talking
conversation.
to strangers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, I'm not necessarily sending you this because
No,
it's
that's
all
fine. Just
clear,
I'll kind of add
but
that.
Lisa's recording it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lisa's going to record it so that people can, refer back to it and go back to it. So, all right. So we kind of covered like small sort of gatherings, that sort of thing. Um, and I know it's weird right now with the pandemic, but are your kids playing any sports or are they pretty active in any kind of sports at all?
Yeah, they do soccer, wrestling, baseball. Yeah,
Okay.
that's where they're at now.
Okay. And are you pretty active in like, their events?
Not wrestling.
Okay.
Soccer, I am. Yeah,
Yeah.
I go to.
Wrestling is tough. I had some that wrestled too. It's a long day. It's all day.
Well, it can be. I go to the ones that I can. It's
Okay.
just it's not for me. I don't enjoy it. It's
Okay.
my wife's. She has four brothers and they all wrestle collegiately, and
Okay.
it's just in the blood, and it's
Sure.
just yeah.
Sure.
But
Okay.
yeah, I try to be present there. But yeah, those are the ones to go do because there's so many people there.
Well, yeah, there are. Here's where I'm going with that. So, one tip that I like to give people is like when the boys would have, at the beginning of the ball season, and they would be looking for parents to put together like a treat schedule or whatever. I was always the first one to raise my hand because what do you think I got when I raised my hand? I got the whole roster
Oh,
with
sure.
everybody's parents' names, with their home addresses, with their emails usually, with their phone numbers. And where do you think I put all those people?
Did you put them on your friends list or what?
I
What
put
did
them
you?
in my database.
Oh,
Put them in my
okay.
database, and
So
I started.
now tell me a little bit about that, because again, I don't want to. Okay, so is that something? How did expand on that for me?
Okay, so are
Put them
you
in your
struggling
contact
with
list,
like
and
how you would classify them in your database
yeah,
because
and
you're
then
not really a
how would
friend
you
yet?
reach out after that?
Well, so what I did with that, or what I would do with that is, anytime I would send like the treat schedule or an update or something, which email do you think I sent it from? My personal one or my business one?
Your killer.
Right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't like, hey everyone, I'm a real estate agent. No, it just in my signature, it says Keller Williams, realtor. So now, did I pick up business from that? Maybe, maybe not, but I certainly picked up recognition. Like people,
Yeah.
like
Okay.
it was very clear what I did for a living. And so then inevitably, when you start going to these events, guess what starts happening? They start coming to me and asking me about real estate,
Yeah. Sure.
right? Like I don't even have to initiate the conversations
Sure.
anymore. So again, I guess my point being, every chance you get, make sure that you make it clear. Another thing, if you're someone who's like, yeah, well, the treat schedule's not my thing, you could show up at a ball game or an event with a cooler of water. A case of water costs what, like $3.50 these days?
Right.
And so my husband and I have gone to, you can go to, you can probably order off Amazon, but like Home Depot, Staples, something like that, you can get labels. You can create a label. It's very easy to remove the water bottle label and replace it with your label.
Oh,
So when you're at an event, it's hot outside. Right now is the perfect time of year. Are you thirsty? Here, I've got a bottle of water. Hand out your water,
okay.
at the ball games, things like that. Super simple stuff like that,
Thank you.
I think would help you take advantage of those situations.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, they just go into my database, and what you're going to want to do is organize your database. And if you haven't spent time with Lisa yet, she can, show you how to do this, but you can organize your database with like Mets, haven't Mets, and then you can classify the people like A, B, C, past clients, potential clients, family, neighbors, whatever. You can organize all of that. And then you can go into command and set smart plans and set them up on smart plans, which are touches, right?
Yeah.
Are you familiar with that
And I
yet?
know smart plans. Yep.
Okay, good, good. So like what's good about that for you, just getting into the business, is learning about that and making sure that you start doing that from the very beginning. Because if you're in the business for a year or two or 18 like me, and then you have to go back and do that, it's a lot more difficult than
Yeah.
starting that really good habit in the
That
beginning.
makes sense.
Open house. How did your open house go with Sarah?
Really good. Yeah, no, it
Okay.
did. With Melanie Drake. She
Tag along
stopped by
too.
too. She was just kind of hanging out, so I didn't have a lot of one-on-one time with Sarah, but yeah, I got a contact out of it actually because it
You
was busy.
did.
It was busy, so I didn't expect it, but Sarah's like, "Oh no, you hit it off with them, and you take down their name and reach out."
Wow, that was super generous of her. She's
Yeah,
awesome. That's why I was so excited when she offered to let you shadow her. She's a class act. She comes from contribution. Like not all agents would do that, and that's awesome.
no,
Oh,
that's why I said I was like, "No, that's yours." Like
yeah,
I don't expect any of that. Like
yeah.
it was nice, but yeah, I learned a lot, and she's very good at what she does.
Yeah. So are you like, what is your comfort level with open houses? How do you feel about holding them? Like, do you have an interest in holding them? Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. So check out the calendar. I'm teaching my open house class this week.
Okay.
That's how I built my business, and pretty quickly, was through
Yeah,
open
that's what you
houses.
said.
And so there's a lot more to it than just, showing up, putting a sign in the yard and greeting people, right? So make sure if you can put that on your calendar, and that will be super helpful as another form of lead generation for you. And I'll share with you some of my scripts, my open house scripts that I use in that class. I'm going to leave you with one more because gosh, this went by quick. We only have 3 minutes. Um, um, Someone who you haven't talked to in a while. You probably have a few of those people in your life, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what's the name of one of your friends you haven't talked to in a while?
I actually just reached out to him Saturday after the open house.
Okay, well, I'm curious. How did that conversation go? What was
It
your
went really well. It went really well because I mean we were good friends, you know. So
right?
but it's just it'd been a year, and I was
Okay.
like, dude, I miss you. Like how's life? And
Okay.
I found out he had COVID and his
Oh
wife
my
had
gosh.
COVID and she was in the ICU, and I was like, holy
Oh my
crap, I
gosh.
didn't know any of this. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, and I just reached out and I said that, and he knows a lot of people in Lake City and stuff like that. But I'm like, if you know anyone in the area, just have them give me a call. And it was at the end, right? We got
Right.
talking, and it was like an
Right. Well,
hour.
you played that exactly right. You played that exactly right. So, again, I have a feeling that this is going to be your strong suit because you come across as such a genuine guy. But me, so I was guilty of not doing this, even having been in the business for a few years. And I have past clients that I hadn't talked to in a while. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, how do I pick up the phone and call them now? Like, this is going to seem so disingenuous. And the script that I like to use, and this could be whether they're a past client or your buddy who you hadn't seen for a year, right? So you call them and say, hey, Grady, it's Erin. Haven't talked to you in a while. Man, I thought of you the other day. I don't know if you know this. I'm in real estate now, and I did an open house in your area, and I drove by your house or I drove by your neighborhood, and it made me think, man, I got to do a better job of keeping in touch with you. How the heck are you?
Yeah. Yeah,
So it's like mentioning the real estate very briefly in the beginning,
okay.
right? But then you go into how are you, ask about the kids, ask about the job, ask about the family, whatever. And then, if you ask enough questions, then naturally what's going to happen is they're going to start asking them back. Well, how are you? How's the family? How's work? Oh, thank you for asking. I don't know if you know this, but I just got into real estate.
Yeah.
So it's super simple. And I think that a lot of times what keeps people from picking up the phone and calling those folks, whether, it's people who they haven't talked to in a while, or they don't want to be that friend that is calling their friends, is just something very simple like that. Like, hey, there's a million reasons why we could be in and around their neighborhood. We're showing houses, we're
Right.
previewing houses, we went to a broker open, we held an open house, I'm doing a CMA, I had a listing appointment, right?
Yep.
There could be like a million different reasons as to why you thought of them. You were just like in the area or whatever. So I would maybe spend some time, if you haven't done this yet, going through your database and making those kind of phone calls this week
Okay.
and see what kind of traction you get.
Sure.
And then log into the open house class. I can't remember what day it's on. Wednesday maybe.
Well, so I have the calendar from Christina, but none of the stuff is on the actual Keller Williams calendar as far as the links and all that stuff yet. So I actually got this from Lisa. I just
Yes.
sent an email to her
Yeah.
saying, "Hey, I don't have it."
Yeah. So what we normally do, I'll ask the ladies, I'll ask Lisa to send you an email. I believe what they normally do is they will post the link inside the closed Facebook group right before the class starts. And then a lot of times they'll email out the link. Lisa probably just didn't have this one because like I literally last week was like, you know what? I need to start doing some more script mastery with folks. Put me on the calendar every
Okay.
Monday.
Yeah, I
So
like it on the calendar because then I can just click on the event and then it's on there.
just
But
takes you right to it. But
yeah,
this one wasn't on there, you were
none
saying?
of them are. No,
Okay.
there's like a Winona meeting, a team. I don't even think the team meeting's on there because that's tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's something that like it's the Winona agents getting together for their team meeting. So it's
Okay.
going to be like specific to them. So just in case you were thinking about
So
tuning in,
we don't have a team meeting tomorrow.
we have one at 11. The office does
Yeah. Okay.
at
I'd like
11.
to be a
Yeah.
part of that.
Yes, you want to be a part of that. The Winona one, it
Yeah.
does, I mean, you could sit in on it if you wanted to, but it does. I don't even think we have a link to their team meeting. So you're talking about the calendar that's online. Hey, Lisa.
Hey, I'm eavesdropping.
Okay, good. I was hoping you were. Can you shed some light?
So Christina's working on getting all the links on the training calendar, so you'll see those soon. But Grady, it's the same link. We use the same link for any and all trainings that are on the training calendar, except for the productivity coaching ones.
Oh,
So yeah, so you can
well,
just use the same link. And then if it ever asks you for a password, because Zoom is constantly changing their security settings, the password is all lowercase, color 11.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
One.
So
Well, that's easy. I'll just keep that email you just sent me, and then that's all I need. So
yeah,
that's
perfect.
really
Awesome.
perfect.
All right. Well, we're 10:32 on the nose, and I've got to
Oh, yeah,
run
let's
off to
wrap it up.
Faribault for my next appointment. Thank you for logging in. Hopefully, we can just kind of build some more stuff into this, and we can actually do some role playing on some of the calls. So,
I'd like
have an
it.
awesome. I hope you feel better.
Yeah, thank you. I didn't want to risk it. I didn't want to be a little outbreak monkey.
All right. Well, we appreciate that.
Yeah.
Have a good rest of your day. Lisa, I'll chat with you later.
See you, ladies.
Thanks,
Sounds
guys.
good. Bye, Grady.